The stock price of GameStop soared as a result of a bewildering David and Goliath battle between everyday amateur day traders and Wall Street masters of the universe. GameStop is a brick-and-mortar video game store whose market value had long been suffering. With analysts heralding the company's inevitable demise, it's no surprise it topped the list of most shorted stocks of the year. Then came the amateur day traders, more suddenly than pandemic lockdowns or even the ability to purchase video games from the comfort of your own home. While coronavirus restrictions forced many non-essential retailers to close their doors, it also left many ordinary people with a little extra time on their hands. And more than a few, organized on social media and most especially the subreddit WallStreetBets, decided to use their time to buy up shares of what very well may have been the most underestimated stock in the world, thus burning Wall Street's elites with an effect called a short squeeze. Many, I'm sure, were mobilized to support the jobs of retailers, others to turn a profit on a surprising market shift, and still others, perhaps just to contribute to an experiment in the power of crowds. But most of all, it seems the prevailing motivation was to send a message to Wall Street short sellers, and that message was, how do you like them apples? New technologies frequently have profound effects on the economy. Take Tower Records. In the 1990s, it was one of the largest record retailers in the world. But with the emergence of music sharing sites like Napster and digital music sellers like iTunes, Tower Records had little chance of survival. Its last US store closed its doors in 2006. And then there's Blockbuster Video. It was once the biggest video rental chain in the US, with 9,000 stores worldwide. At one point, the chain opened a new store every 17 hours. Then came video-on-demand streaming services like Netflix. Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in 2010 and shuttered almost all of its stores. After a location in Australia closed in 2019, the store in Bend, Oregon became the last remaining Blockbuster on the planet. Sometimes technological advances hurt big companies. Frequently, it crushes the little guy. While big box chains like Walmart were enemy number one for mom and pop shops during the 1990s, independent retailers now consider Amazon to be their top threat. For some time now, video game shops have seemed to be on the same path toward extinction. With the emergence of downloadable games, a 2012 article in The Atlantic asked, "Are brick-and-mortar video game stores endangered?" A reply came in the form of a 2017 article, "Brick-and-mortar video game retailers may be obsolete by 2020. Then a 2019 article made it painfully specific for one retailer in particular. GameStop has become the poster child for retail woes and tech disruption. GameStop is the world's largest brick-and-mortar video game retailer. The value of its stock has long been in decline. Share prices went for as high as $55 USD back in 2013, and dropped down to just below $4 in the early spring of 2020. The company's losses are no surprise, given the company's business model. Here's how that last article I just mentioned explained the fall. Once a crucial player in the gaming food chain, both domestically and abroad, GameStop is the latest business victimized by the digitization of basically everything. A far-reaching chain of video game stores, GameStop made sense in the days when gamers wanted to buy their wares on discs inside boxes at stores based in malls. The appeal seems a lot lower when physical discs appear to be going the way of CDs and DVDs. Gamers can now download their games or stream them, or buy them from Amazon or Best Buy, Walmart, or Target, while shopping for everything else they need. That dynamic is problematic for GameStop, which still has 3,777 stores domestically and another 1,912 around the world. As pressure mounted on the company's core business, it made some apparently failed efforts to explore other options. First, there was Spring Mobile, followed by the purchase of hundreds of storefronts from AT&T. By 2016, GameStop owned and operated just shy of 1,500 mobile phone stores under the Spring Mobile name. Those stores were expected to generate about $1 million apiece, and when they didn't generate that kind of money, they quickly became an expensive liability. Before the acquisitions, GameStop had cash in the bank and zero debt. By 2018, when Spring Mobile was sold for $700 million, the company was swimming in debt. It's no surprise then that Wall Street took notice, with so-called vulture capitalists seizing on the opportunity to profit off the slow death of the video game retailer. Hedge fund companies like Melvin Capital bet against the company, making it the most shorted name in the market according to CNBC and the third most shorted stock by value according to Reuters. Now you might be asking yourself at this point, what is short selling? Essentially, when a trader thinks that a stock is overvalued, they can borrow shares and immediately sell them with the hopes of buying them back at a lower rate later on when the shares need to be returned to the original lender. I know that one sentence explanation is probably sufficient, but let's break it down a little more with an absurd and stupid analogy. Your friend is a massive Delaniac with an extensive inventory of John Delaney merchandise. He shows you his collection of Delaney t-shirts and brags that each has a resale value of $100. You, being a rather cynical individual, believe that Delaney mania will be over within the next month and expect that the value of Delaney t-shirts will drop. So you borrow 10 Delaney t-shirts from your friend with a promise to return to him 10 brand new Delaney t-shirts in 1 month's time. You then immediately sell the Delaney t-shirts on one of the more popular Delaney t-shirt resale websites and indeed fetch $100 per tee. Now you have $1,000. Of course, you still owe your Delaniac friend his t-shirts back, not a problem. Because this is an absurd imaginary world, the value of Delaney t-shirts declines as you expected over the next few weeks, and now go for just $80. It costs you $800 to buy the 10 shirts you owe your friend, netting you a profit of $200. That's short selling. But what if the value of Delaney t-shirts only increased between the time you borrowed and sold the sick tees and the time you had to return the shirts to your friend? Well, then you would be in big trouble. If the price goes up by $20 per shirt instead of down, then you'd be losing $200. That's called a short squeeze. And the risk of that happening is a very good reason why short selling John Delaney t-shirts is something we really can't do and shouldn't fight for. And a short squeeze can be intentionally generated by driving up the costs of stocks. How could that happen? Well, let's say word got out in the Delaniac community that you were shorting Delaney t-shirts. If in response enough Delaniacs bought that same shirt, the demand would drive up the value. That's pretty much what happened with GameStop stock. GameStop's shares had hit a low of $2.57 in 2020 before rising as high as $18.84 by December 31st, when a notable hedge fund decided to back the retailer. While the stock price gradually rallied, other funds, like Melvin Capital, shorted the stock. Soon crowds of amateur investors decided to buy in, pushing the price of GameStop shares to nearly $470. Central to organizing the effort was the Reddit community WallStreetBets, a subreddit that describes itself as like 4chan found a Bloomberg terminal. The self-proclaimed degenerates indeed have garnered a bit of a reputation for not safe for work posts and dank memes. And yet even a cursory glance through the subreddit reveals that these renegade amateur traders are doing something much more than disruption for the memes of it all. The investor whose stock tips are being credited with inspiring the GameStop surge is Keith Gill, aka Roaring Kitty. In an interview he gave to the Wall Street Journal, he said, "This story is so much bigger than me. I support these retail investors, their ability to make a statement." Another member of WallStreetBets, Redditor Pie is Overrated, states in part, "Now that I'm all in, I'm staying more up to date with things that are happening. I understand why nobody is selling. I just saw a video of a billionaire saying it's unfair what's going on. I saw a billionaire say he's just trying to make a living. I haven't seen one billionaire against this movement speak on the recession of 2008. I have seen blatant market manipulation to keep the common man from trading. I've seen countless slanders and whining. You know what else I've seen during this time? I saw a guy on here donate switches to St. Jude. I saw a different guy donate money to St. Jude. I saw a guy pay for his dog's surgery. I saw a dude pay off his student loans. This is so much bigger than money. Truthfully, I'll survive without this money if it tanks. Obviously, money would be nice, but I know some others out there probably need it more. All that I do ask, if you do make it out of this not holding the bag, please do something good with your profits. Please don't turn into the greedy leeches on Wall Street." But not everyone participating in the anti-shorting effort can necessarily be seen as so purely motivated. By far the most well-known and prominent participant and supporter of the GameStop buying efforts has been Elon Musk. With a one-word tweet on January 26th, he clearly contributed significantly to the spread of the movement. Musk is a long-standing critic of shorting and may very well have only the purest of intentions when it comes to his participation in this fight. At the same time, it's impossible to ignore the fact that he stands to gain substantially. Mr. Musk has long courted retail investors, not just on Twitter. Unlike most companies, Tesla lets retail investors pose questions on quarterly earnings calls before institutional investors. On the Reddit forum, he has earned the nickname Papa Elon among some fans for his pronouncements. Shares in Tesla soared more than 600% in the 12 months ending Thursday, transforming the Silicon Valley company into the world's most valuable automaker. And, as of earlier this month, making Mr. Musk the world's wealthiest individual, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. For years, as Tesla struggled to stem losses, Mr. Musk used Twitter to attack short sellers, firing off posts that often were followed by a jump in Tesla's stock price that hurt shorts in the process. But of course, Mr. Musk is not the only potential big money beneficiary of this chaos. In a letter to the acting chair of the SEC, Senator Elizabeth Warren wrote, "I am deeply concerned that these casino-like swings in the value of GameStop and other company shares are yet another example of the gamesmanship that interferes with the fair, orderly, and efficient function of the market, raising obvious questions about public confidence in the market and those trading in it. The founder of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau tends not to be the biggest ally of Wall Street firms. So why is she concerned about a bunch of ordinary day traders striking back against hedge funds? There is a troubling lack of clarity regarding who the major market participants are in this case, and the degree to which their activities may be coordinated. With many of these traders cloaked in anonymity, there is no way of knowing whether messages touting GameStop come from average Joes or scam artists executing a pump and dump stock scheme. Whatever the case, Warren warns that the effect of these fluctuations could be damaging to ordinary people. The manipulation of share prices may exacerbate inequality and the impacts of the ongoing pandemic-related economic collapse. While investors work to outmaneuver each other in search of short-term profits, working families continue to suffer, underscoring the growing disconnect between the stock market and the real economy. Maxine Waters, the chair of the U.S. Committee on Financial Services, also called out the dangers of market volatility and cast Wall Street firms as the villains of the story. Hedge funds have a long history of predatory conduct, and that conduct is entirely indefensible. Private funds preying on the pension funds of hardworking Americans must be stopped. Private funds engaging in predatory short selling to the detriment of other investors must be stopped. Private funds engaging in vulture strategies that hurt workers must be stopped. I will convene a hearing to examine the recent activity around GameStop stock and other impacted stocks with a focus on short selling, online trading platforms, gamification, and their systemic impact on our capital markets and retail investors." The financial establishment had some severe reactions to the frenzied buying of GameStop. On Thursday, January 28th, trading services like Robinhood, Interactive Brokers, and Webull Financial shut down the ability to buy shares of GME. Robinhood also shut down the buying of other stocks that had been seeing similar stories unfold. These included AMC, BlackBerry, Bed Bath & Beyond, Express, COS, and Nokia. This led immediately to a dramatic fall in the value of shares. Robinhood's decision was met with immediate backlash from leaders on opposite ends of the political spectrum. For instance, Ted Cruz tweeted that he fully agrees with AOC's tweet criticizing the hypocrisy of Robinhood's decision and recommending a hearing on the matter. By the way, AOC was not particularly pleased with Cruz's clout chasing and immediately rebuked him, claiming that the senator had put her life in peril 3 weeks ago and calling on him to resign. Representative Ocasio-Cortez had previously spoken about her experiences during the storming of the Capitol, saying that she had a very close encounter and that she did not know if she was going to make it to the end of the day alive. At any rate, Robinhood caved to the political pressure almost instantly. On January 29th, Robinhood lifted the restrictions, followed by yet another surge in the stock's value. The hedge fund billionaire Leon Cooperman lashed out at the GME investors, saying, "It's a loser's game and they have no idea what they're doing." In the same interview, he criticized Joe Biden for talking about potentially increasing capital gains taxes and fumed at the idea that he should pay his fair share of taxes. This fair share is a baloney concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people. Senator Bernie Sanders responded via tweet, "Oh look, another billionaire is mad that he might have to pay more in taxes while children in America go hungry and veterans sleep on the street. Cry me a river. Yes, we will make Wall Street billionaires pay their fair share of taxes and create an economy that works for all of us." While I personally agree with Senator Sanders when it comes to fair shares, I can't help but agree, at least in part, with Leon Cooperman when it comes to GameStop shares. A viral moment may have allowed a Reddit community to inflate the stock's value, but that price increase corresponds in no way with any kind of improvements made to the company. It would not be all that surprising to see this stock drop in value as Redditors lose interest. And there may very well be more Wall Street traders shorting that stock right now, with the expectation that its current price can't hold. So it's unclear whether any of these Reddit day traders will actually end up keeping the profits they've earned. They may not even have caused any long-term damage to the major financial firms. And despite many calls for action, I seriously doubt that any substantial regulations will be imposed on Wall Street as a result of this episode. But it is clear that the WallStreetBets community has successfully panicked the professional capitalists with the mechanisms of modern capitalism. They've thumbed their noses at the establishment with their own tools, the instruments of commerce and finance. Completely unrelated to this, I'm actually selling this John Delaney t-shirt. How do you like them apples?
I can't see a way out. I've been stacking face down off canvases I painted. I just spent the rain day on drip I can't afford, but that's the price I pay for the memories I'm making. I've been going places, I've been shaking hands for a chance to really make it. This life is so